Well, first of all, many congratulations to ECHO on its 20th birthday. ECHO is very much an engaged donor across the humanitarian community, and I think we all appreciate that. It's a donor with which we have very strong relations, and it's not just about the funding relationship, it's about the relationship that ECHO have with us, thinking through the challenges that we face across the humanitarian community and ways in which together we can help to tackle those. And of course I have a very close personal relationship with Commissioner Georgieva. She is extremely engaged in the work that we're all doing. She shows great leadership on issues and is always thinking ahead about ways in which together we can deal with some of the major humanitarian crises facing us in our world. So ECHO is very much an important partner for us, and one of the few donors that see the importance not only of talking about the importance of coordination, but of funding coordination too, at HQ level, but also many of our country operations. Well, crucially, of course, coordination has to be at the top of that agenda, to bring together a disparate system that involves humanitarian organizations from the United Nations, organizations as large as the World Food Programme, UNHCR, UNICEF, the World Health Organization, and others, with our international and national NGO partners, the ICRC, of course, a crucial component with their very strong independent mandate, and of course our donor countries, but also the countries that are affected by crises. Coordinating that is not an easy thing to do, and of course we on the coordination side of the United Nations have ourselves celebrated our own achievements in terms of that coordination over the last 20 years. So coordination, the continuing and consistent support of our donors to ensure that through that coordination we make the system as effective as we can, we avoid duplication, and we really work on the added value that every single agency or organisation brings to that process. I think there are a huge variety of challenges, but let me just touch on three. The first is that the scale, variety, intensity of crises will undoubtedly increase over the next few years, and we've seen that year on year. So the second major challenge is going to be how do we continue to be effective, to be speedy in the way that we respond, gather the data that we need as quickly as we can, and raise the money that we need. And that means that we have to pay far more attention to preparedness, to building the resilience of communities, but we're also seeing increasingly intractable political crises as well. So more focus on peace, security, stability, really bringing an end to conflict. And I think the third major challenge is going to be how can we continue to cooperate together, to coordinate, to make sure that the new players, that the private sector, increasingly other member states that have not necessarily played a part in the multilateral system before, how we can make our system genuinely inclusive, genuinely global, whilst at the same time retaining that commitment to the principles, particularly impartiality, independence, which have been so important to our work. Well, my vision is really for a genuinely inclusive global humanitarian system, but one which really builds a bridge into longer term recovery and into development. In so many countries where we see natural disasters, for example, or which are coming out of a conflict, they are countries that have huge development challenges as well. So we need to manage the expectations on the humanitarian side, but ensure that what we do builds a bridge into that longer term development. That has got to be our vision. We can't stay in an emergency crisis mode in a country for too long. We've seen in too many places where people have lived in camps for years, where they're bringing up their children in those camps. Everyone that I've spoken to has spoken to me of the importance of rebuilding their livelihoods, getting their children into school, being in a safe and secure environment. That has got to be the vision, not just for the humanitarian side of what we do, but for the developmental side of what we do as well.